And we're recording. Welcome back to the show. It's been a little while.
What's up, everybody?
How's the new place? And what do you got on your nose? Actually, that's even a better question.
Man, this is crazy, man. How long have we been off air?
It's been a long time. I think at least. Actually, we could probably check YouTube and see when the last upload was. But the last one we did, I think I came back from Arizona, and we did a sit down.
Oh, the last one was the in-person one?
Yeah, I think so.
Damn, like January or February.
Yeah.
You want to know what's on my nose?
Yeah,
Why?
yeah. I don't know. It just it's interesting. I don't know if it was like I'm assuming it serves like some kind of like a purpose, up there. I would assume, unless it's a new style, it could be a new style.
You're assuming purpose. Yeah. Do you assume that like with all people?
I mean, I guess it depends. I've never seen something like that, so if I saw it, I don't know what I would think. I would probably say like it probably is a function, because I've never seen it, but it could be a style too. I guess
Mm.
I would be conflicted because it has like a look where like it doesn't look like medical. It looks like actually a little bit like it has some style to it, like it has like kind of a black leather look.
So you're saying that it could have function or it could have aesthetic purposes?
It could. You've got it with the hat too. You're matching.
Yeah. So what's the difference between aesthetics and function?
Hmm. I mean, you could argue that like shirts, pants, socks serve like a function because if it's cold outside, a jacket serve a function, but they also serve like a stylistic purpose as well. Something like a hat, maybe less important, but it could protect you from the sun, so that's one thing. But maybe leaning more so style, but also if it's sunny outside, that's pretty good. Um, Same with glasses too, I guess. Yeah, it protects your eyes from the sun, but it also is stylish.
So
That
what's
though,
something that is style only?
something that's style only. Rings.
Earring?
Yeah,
Ring.
earrings, necklace. Yeah, rings on the finger. That would be yeah.
But like couldn't there be like the function of like when I wear a chain sometimes I feel that weight there on my neck kind of like reminding me that like I'm alive, you know? Like kind of anchoring me. So like that's more of a less obvious function, I'd say. But I'd say mostly to the general public aesthetics.
Aesthetics. Yeah,
Style.
yeah.
Yeah, so this is on my nose because um I want to breathe better and like this thing kind of helps me do that.
Okay. I like that they. It seems like whoever makes that cares a little bit about like the look.
Yeah, that's why I like this one.
I feel like they didn't just like they weren't just like it's a function. It kind of seems like they almost were thinking like, well, if someone wears this, it looks like it's got a look to it with like the black strap. It looks like leather. I don't know from afar. I can't tell, but looks like a leather kind of piece.
Yeah, I think that would be if it were to be leather, that would be the ultimate investment in style.
Ah,
Um, it is not.
okay. Still though, it could be like it could start beating the nose ring in a in style. You know, you could start competing with them a little bit, and maybe one day that'll be like, this is cooler, this is better.
Yeah, it may take over and have more of a stylistic function. That could be interesting, especially because this is non-invasive and non-permanent.
True, that too, that too.
Because I have heard some stuff about rings and piercings, not rings, where like I don't know, like we have like these pathways of like nerves and blood vessels and etc. And like interfering with that is kind of interesting to think about, like as an aesthetic choice that may be hindering some bodily function in some way.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard about that. I've never heard that it like, but that's true. I guess there are like nerves that run through like every single part of your body. Yeah, I don't know. I guess like if you wear it long enough, I don't know if the whole like it permanently forms, but I know that like some people, if they don't wear their rings for a while, that like not rings but piercings, it seals. Like it
Yeah,
reseals back up.
but like yeah, maybe it completely heals in some cases. In other cases, I believe like scar tissue would develop,
I could see that. Yeah.
and ultimately, to my understanding, scar tissue does not allow nerves and blood vessels to grow through it. It's kind of like a brick wall in a certain way.
Dang. Hmm. For like ears, I that would make me more concerned. Like if I was, like belly button piercings.
You're saying belly button piercings are worse?
I don't know. I'd imagine with like scar tissue, like if you're gonna interrupt nerves anywhere, like on the earlobes, it's kind of like, well, it's the earlobes. But you go like, you start going down from there. It's like, whoa.
I guess like the way you explained it, like I get what you're saying, but there was no lyrical content to like why the belly button may be more of a sensitive area than the earlobe, you know?
Well, because I bet you anything it would hurt more. Like if I was looking at it and I was thinking, all right, am I going for the ear piercing or am I going for the belly button piercing? Or people get their dicks pierced. People get their vaginas pierced. That's a whole different like level. Like that's what I mean by like the farther you're going down, like the more extreme that is getting. There's no way that's getting any less extreme. You know?
Yeah, actually, that makes me think of something. Let me see if I can find this photo. Um, did my video just turn off, or can you still see me?
Oh, your video turned off. I can't see you.
Okay, I'll be there in a second. But I'm looking for a sensitivity uh drawing where basically like the parts of your body that are like more sensitive and have more nerve endings like are shown bigger on the body. So
Hmm.
like people have giant lips and they have giant hands and their dick is big too. But um, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
More
Yeah, it's proportional to nerves.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it, but you can imagine
I
it's a very strange looking drawing.
I could imagine. I think too. I don't know if we'd be able to show it on YouTube is the problem. We might. Well, not that we're gonna get monetized anyways, but I don't know if they see a chart with like a massive dick and balls on it. I
Oh,
think they might not even let us exist.
mm. Yeah, we'll avoid showing the dick and balls for this episode. But anyway, yeah, something to think about. When I touch my earlobes, they feel pretty sensitive though.
Yeah, I guess just not like the. It's not like the most thing I would be like concerned about like piercing. I think out of everything, even nose I feel like would be maybe nose would be better. I don't know. Maybe there is less. There could be less in the nose. I don't know.
Uh,
That goes all the way
I don't
through
know.
though. That's a thick area. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know anything really. I'd say a lot of the areas of the body are sensitive, and you're not gonna ruin your life if you get a piercing.
True, true. Otherwise, there'd be like cases of people who are like, like they'd be like in the doctor's office, like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's wrong with me. And they'd be like, you got the belly button piercing. Can't do that. So, luckily, I at least like it seems fine. People have been like piercing themselves for a long time now too. Even in ancient times, some cultures would they'd wear like nose rings and they'd get different piercings in like crazy places too, like places that at least I'd be worried if something went wrong. I'd be like, oh, shit.
I was just listening to uh, the Hidden Tricycle album where like every song there's like our beat tag is you saying, "Oh, this is a different song."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the album's called After Several Misses, and like I just listened to it today again.
I like going back and doing that too, listening to like past projects. It's uh it's like a cool feeling, just getting a nostalgia and kind of thinking back to making it, you know?
Yeah, do you remember any of the songs? Like
Um
any of them?
I do. I do. I remember making to the oh, I can't remember what album it was on, but you and me both played guitar over the track and there was no lyrics. We just did like harmonization. I can't remember the song.
We did a harmonization and we recorded it.
Yeah, yeah. And it was on one of the albums. Um
It was a Hidden Tricycle project, and you and I played guitar on it. And
yeah.
there was no lyrics on the whole entire song.
I don't think so, no. Except I think Max said at the end like, "Do you like my guitar solo?"
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was on the project called Randy. That was the project that happened right after the one I was talking about. That was good.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was a cool concept. I liked it.
Yeah, I went on a date on Sunday, and I told my date that it was we had FaceTimed a couple times, but it was our first date in person, and I was like, I don't know how it came up, but basically in this project, like, there's this story about this guy named Bucko, and he's not so bright, Bucko, and he gets tasked with the responsibility. I don't know how he kind of stumbles into this, but he has like this motorbike they can travel through time, and it runs off of prune juice. And spoiler alert, by the end of the album, he basically goes to Charles Barkley's house, and Charles Barkley feeds him into a wood chipper, and he dies. And so I was in Golden Gate Park, and there's like a lot of crazy shit over there, but they were doing some construction, and they had this wood chipper, a very very big wood chipper, the size to which they could put a very large human in actually. And so I told her, we made a song about this guy named Bucko, and Charles Barkley put him in a wood chipper.
What was her response?
I think she just chuckled a little bit. Yeah, That's as much.
Ah. How's the new place? I see you got like you sent me photos before, but I can see like yeah, you got the you got some cool what is that called? Like a cloth or
What is what called?
like what you got on your walls? It's like kind of a
Oh,
curtain
people call them tapestries. Uh,
tapestry. Okay, yeah.
to me, a tapestry is just a bed sheet that you put on the wall. And that's what I did. But people are calling them tapestries.
Tapestries. Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like it. I like it. New place
Yeah.
though is what do you think? You still liking it? Still good?
Dude, even if it wasn't good, I wouldn't say it on the podcast.
Okay, that's fair. I probably wouldn't either if that's very true. Yeah.
No, but I like it a lot. It's it's the right thing for me.
That's good. That's good. I was trying to see like if there's like any like stories like trying to think if there's any like quirks about the place that I live in. Um you know there's sometimes like have I don't know if I've told this story on the podcast, but sometimes there's a lot of like I mean this is probably just like living in apartments in general, but there's a lot of commotion sometimes. Like when I first started living here, there was just someone like just crying. I think somewhere in one of the units upstairs from me, just crying, and then she like screamed something, and the door went slam. And then like someone called the cops because I think they thought it might have been a domestic dispute. So they went to all the doors and they like interviewed like what's like did you hear this sound? What's going on? Where did it come from? And I was like I just don't it just came from upstairs somewhere. And I was like, I don't know, maybe it was like I think it was a bunch of like girls that were living upstairs, so it was probably just some drama thing where they all were living in the same house. Some argument broke out. And so it probably wasn't domestic disputes. That's why I didn't call, but then I felt bad because I was like, "Oh, what if it was something?" And I should have called like someone else called the police. And I was like, I don't know if it's like then you embarrass everyone if you call them, but then if it's bad, it's bad. It's like this conundrum.
Yeah, well, you're kind of asking what's your personal responsibility like within the community.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that after it happened, and recently another thing happened too, where somebody was like a guy was screaming. He was like, he was really mad, and he slammed the door again. Door slams. There's something about the door slamming here, and I think he leaves, and then it's like you think you're like, well, I don't know. I guess everyone has like crazy days, but like and you can't just call the police whenever like there's like someone like screaming around or like someone gets in an argument. You know what I mean? That's crazy. But then I was thinking like someone else called during the when there was a girl crying and like there was like some argument and then like there was no crying this time. So maybe the crying was like that made a neighbor feel like the escalation point was good enough to call. But I wasn't gonna because I was thinking I mean that's probably pretty normal. It's just like people get emotional and in an argument and it's just probably how it is, I guess, but
Yeah, so there seems to be a problem diagnosing like the severity of the situation, and then there's also the component of if you do diagnose that, then within that, what's your personal responsibility? Um,
like if I heard stuff breaking up top above me, like I like it sounded like someone was like smashing something, I'd be like, okay, that's concerning. Someone is obviously like physically like assaulting like things, objects in their space. This could be bad. But if it's just someone who like has left the space, like crying or like was yelling previously, I'm like, okay, it seems like this is like de-escalated and it was just like there's no
it's
like
not going to continue.
violence. Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. I'd say I'd get the building involved before I would get the police involved if there was. those situations. Just like telling them, hey, I heard this, just in case like you hear it again, like they're already kind of aware of it.
Yeah, because I mean, imagine if that's how things worked in society. If every single time there was like some noise, like disruption, episode, just call the police every time. That would be terrible. That would be the worst. Not to mention, it's probably like embarrassing, like when the police show up, and then I don't even know what they're like. I imagine then they have to like interview people in the house, and it was like, yeah, Sarah just got really mad because Tina like slept with her boyfriend, and then they were yelling, and then she was crying, and then she left out the door, and then it's like that. It's like, there's nothing to be done in that moment. Then like no one has committed like a crime. It would just be a dysfunctional world if that's how he treated things,
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, it would be crazy if you just called the police. Like if somebody like pooped in your house and like didn't flush.
Yeah, or clogged the toilet. I was like, oh, that's it. I'm tracking him down. You better be careful.
And they sent a SWAT team.
Yeah. You tell them that it's some dangerous explosives they're dealing with on their end. They already destroyed my bathroom with it. With a bomb, sir? Ah, a certain kind of bomb. Some might say.
Yeah, someone would like call the SWAT team, and the acronym is like somebody wants a toot, or what would you say? Somebody wants a. Yeah, didn't work. Anyway, yeah, dude, pooping and calling the police, that'd be funny.
I think already sometimes people like they call like emergency services like to the point where like for anything, like they're like, that guy looks suspicious, and then it's like calls, it's like, stop. It's like, what are you doing? It's like you can't just like you can't just do that. These are like supposed to be emergency situations. Not supposed to just be like grabbing the phone all the time.
Yeah, I'm just noticing like in the Not Your Cousins podcast, it really highlighted, it took advantage of the fact that you specifically play multiple characters in quick succession where like they have conversations with each other,
Yeah.
And I was just imagining like even if there was just the simple screen flip, even without like effects and stuff, how cool that would be.
It would be. That was one of the cool things, is that we had that option. It could be possible here. It would just be hard because we'd have to like it still could work. It still could. It was fun like editing together though, the editing process, but if I had some time, I'd be willing to try and figure it out, see if I could get this to look a little bit different.
Well, I don't know if I want. I mean, yeah, I'm open to that. There's also like people that we could like if we just like hired somebody and we just like only had them edit for 1 hour, and we paid them like $20 an hour. We could at least have previously watched the episode and then say we like these edits, and only pick like 6 or 8 times to do them. I'm just thinking about outsourcing,
Yeah, that could definitely be an option too. Yeah.
Oh, this is so weird. Am I flipping around? Oh, there we go.
No, you're good. You're stable on my screen.
I looked the same all that time? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you're using a phone.
What?
So you're using a phone?
Yeah, my iPhone 11.
That's good quality. That's a good quality image. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, how's the voice?
Voice is good. Yeah.
Really?
It's not like it's not like the best, but it's like clear enough to where it's it's surprising. I would have thought a worse quality coming from the mic, especially.
Yeah, I'm still getting my desk set up, so um yeah, I think this works for now.
Is that gonna be like your office space? Have you kind of decided on? Is that the desk area?
You're asking about like my setup and how I kind of compartmentalize the different things I do in my space.
Yeah, yeah. Or I guess like have you decided like this is like the spot, like this feels right for the desk, you know? I feel like in every house there's like a place where you put the desk and you're like this is where it needs to go.
I'm still feeling it out, to be honest. I think I prioritized the seating area over the desk because the desk, the way I set it up was the desk is only for music. And so like it doesn't have the same necessity for like you need to do homework here or you need to like, you know, sign up for your health insurance. Like get stuff done is not part of the desk. And so like that may be different than what other people use the desk for?
That's true. I use this desk for everything. I guess it's become like just the it's it's an everything spot. It's if I go on the internet for entertainment, if I make music, if I'm doing homework, if I'm filling out a form, if I have to do something, it's like it's just the operation table.
Yeah, so it's a high traffic area.
It is a very high traffic area.
So you made the decision to like do all that there and then you like really set it up that zone just for having multiple functions.
I did. I think I didn't quite have a choice either because I have like a very like limited like I don't have like because this is a kind of smaller apartment. I don't actually have like a living room. Um, so the space where like I guess most people might put like a little table to eat at, I just put my desk here. Um, and I think I was
Where do
planning on
you eat?
maybe I eat here.
Fuck, dude.
I eat here.
You don't have a side table or anything like that?
No, I thought about getting one because you remember the little stools that like we got and everything. But then I think in the beginning I was like figuring out dimensions and I was like, this isn't gonna work. I need like I have like my seating for the like a couch and a beanbag next to the TV. And I just realized I was like, there's no space. I like the walkway goes right past that area, and I was like, there's the table's not gonna fit here. So I just said, all right, I don't have the space because this is like kind of a big table too. Like it holds the two monitors and everything, and I was
So
just like, has to
so
be.
you're are you using that seating area for like by the TV?
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes. I don't watch TV very often though. I don't even have like actual TV. I just steal my family's streaming service, so Netflix.
Yeah, of
Sometimes,
course.
but
It's meant
yeah,
for multiple people.
yeah. Whenever like people come over, that's usually when it gets used. Whenever people are over, that's when that space
Mm.
actually gets used, and like you know, I have a space for people to sit down. That's why I got the beanbag chair because the couch like didn't hold enough people, and I was like, I gotta have a like another seat, so I got that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's just this temporary living situation. Um, yeah, so my living situation since 2015 was like 1 year I slept in a room with 15 bunk beds and 30 19-year-old dudes in it. The next year I lived in a room with a very small room with two queen bunk beds, and that's pretty much all that fit in that room. And we basically just had like nobody did laundry, and like literally the floors were covered in clothes. My bed was covered in clothes, um, clothes everywhere. So there wasn't much customization in that bedroom, but like the benefit of having like cramming us all in that small space was we had a whole separate room for like as a day room. Um, so we organized that. It had like a very nice bar and like shaped seating, like facing around the TV, and we had some nice speakers in there. So that was 20 2016, 2017. I built that room. Um, yeah, dude, I was there and then I left, and then there was another room, same thing with the queen bunk beds, but then we had this day room which had like 12-foot high ceilings. And so what we did was we created a second level in the room. Like previously it was meant for other people sleeping in there, so they had these like hooks on the ceiling already that you can like attach stuff to. So we built this extra platform up top with which had like this little it was like 4 feet by 4 feet. It had like this net that we hung there. So there was like this like have you ever seen those where like it's like these giant nets in the ceiling and people like just like lay on them sometimes or um
That sounds actually kind of familiar.
it's like a giant hammock kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So we had one student in our frat, which was he was an architecture student. So he actually like built this whole giant platform for us, and we called it Sky Active Technology, because you could be up in the sky in the room, and that's like Mazda, like that's their proprietary technology that they use in their cars. So anyway, I just feel like I'm rambling about my living situations, but I'm just saying like I've built this is like my sixth one that I did. Um, so basically what I learned was you got to you have to use this space and then develop what sort of structures you're gonna put into place.
Okay, yeah. See, I guess I've heard people doing that too, like with their spaces. I feel like I've sometimes been a little bit too like relaxed with it. Like, of course, I think about function. You know what I mean? Like this is space is gonna be for this is for this, and this is for this. But then like routine wise, I guess I'm kind of like relaxed with it. You know what I mean? Like when I need to do something, I'm just like I'm doing this thing. Like that's why I think you can probably tell that's why this desk just became like homework at the desk. Uh Anything on the internet at the desk. If you need using a computer at the desk. Um
Because once you had it there, it worked for all those things, so you don't need to think about it anymore.
yeah, and I feel like every other room was just kind of like my bedroom is it just has the bed in it, has my clothes in it. It's got a little like shelf and that's pretty much it, the dresser. And so like everything else in the space is like there's no desk and like I need I need a desk to do certain activities. So this is the only desk in the whole house apartment, and so this is what it's become.
Yeah, well, so pretty well, I'll tell you this. I pretty much I have at the end of this thing, I'm gonna have like 5 desks in my place.
Dang, so you're doing you're doing like every single desk has a different purpose, a different function. Dang. Okay.
Yeah, like the desk that I'm sitting at right now is just for food and for homework. Like it's just for that. So, but during the day, there's nothing on this table, right? And so, like any sort of thing I put on it is while I'm sitting here, I'm doing it, and then once I'm done, it's off. I have in the corner my music desk, which is just for music. And then next to that, I kind of have like my planning workstation slash homework table. So half of it is, what sort of things am I starting to think about in the near to far future? What sort of things do I need to complete? What sort of objects do I need to acquire? I always have those like open, and facing outward, so that like if I'm walking by, I can always be reminded of like, what I'm thinking about regarding the future. On the other half, same thing goes for the homework. Like if I feel an inspiration to like learn the stuff that I like to learn about, I'm always like I'm always passing by that so that I can be sparked with inspiration. Um, that's three. I just got another one in my bedroom where I don't know exactly what's gonna go on it, but like there's this blank space in there, and I'm gonna try to figure out, you know, do I want to have arts and crafts like on there, or I don't know. I'm probably put my microscope on there too.
Nice, nice. That's actually really good. That's now I'm just thinking about me and like this is just, it's just a table.
Well, I mean, this is someone says a comparison is the thief of joy. It's
Thief of joy. Huh.
yeah, I don't know. As I said, I wouldn't have been able to do this had I not built all these other rooms. Like, so I left that Sky Epic Active Technology, and then I moved back to my parents' house and moved into a loft. So I got to set up that space, and then I moved again, and I had two roommates in this apartment, small apartment. So I built that room. This is still 2018, 2019. Um, and then I built the van, which was like, building another space, like always thinking like, what am I going to function? What am I going to do in here? And how can I have like all these things happening in one location? Um, and then, oh, we moved our houses. So then I was staying in this room that had, you remember the room upstairs in the rental house? It was like 20 feet by 10 feet. And I had
Yeah,
like my
yeah.
bed with a canopy in there. So yet again, like just a large space. And I have my sleeping area. I have my desk. I had two desks then. One was a standing desk and one was a L desk. I learned a lot from that. Like I learned two desks was not enough for me. Um, and then we moved to Monroe, and then that was yet another one where I had like my desk and my bed in this room that was like 9 feet by 12 feet, so like a lot smaller, but I still organized it. Do you think people think this is interesting?
I'm finding it interesting. I don't know if like people who watch would think it's interesting, but I've heard of people like having like different desks for different things, but I think you have the most desks for different things out of anyone that I've met. So I'm interested like about the different functions of the desks because I've well okay, I don't think I've ever had like the this is the first time I've had, this is probably the largest space I've had to myself, right, in this apartment. Because other than that, it was just one room that I was in. So it was always one desk. And they were just like regular bedroom size. So it was kind of like, the only time I could have done two desks was probably when I was way too young to do it. When I also had like a basement level kind of, in that old farmhouse. I was in the basement. I could have done it back then, but at that point you're so young. It's like, well, you're not using a desk for much of anything at that stage in life. So other than that, it's always been one desk since I started using a desk, like actually using it. It's just one desk, and I don't know. Like I feel like I sometime I gotta try it. I mean, maybe I gotta start thinking that I don't know if I could do it while I'm living here because this is too small. But maybe in the future, maybe I should think about expanding my desk capacity. You know?
Yeah, and you may have a different, preference and process that you develop that's different from what I do. I just found that like when I had my like my creative processes and my uh kind of checklist, like to do kind of stuff, like all happening in the same physical location, that like my creative process and my to-do list felt like it was the same thing. And so like I want to like you know, have like at least me physically, like, you know, there's like this memory and there's like this habit and routine that like I get into. And so, yeah, it's really only 4 desks right now, but like I just like right now, like there used to be a bike right back there, and now there's just this giant space where like I could put another desk, you know. And sometimes, you know, I go overkill on this kind of thing, and like that's fine. It's more of like a surface to place things on and to routinely approach and to either do a task or contemplate stuff, something.
That makes sense because I will notice this too when I'm like doing homework here, because I use it for so many different things. I can get distracted sometimes because I use this for everything else, and so sometimes I'm like, like I just get distracted. Or maybe I don't want to do something, so I put it off a little bit because I'm like, oh, maybe just in an hour, you know, and then it happens. It happens. So I can see why if you had a space that was dedicated to like getting that saving like homework done, at least you could separate yourself from that distraction a little bit by having a different space where your mindset isn't like thinking about other things that you could be doing.
Yeah. So lastly, just to like sum up this topic, I would say through my experience in living in a bunch of different spaces and having different experiences with the amount of desks and with my success within those spaces based on the amount of surfaces that I have access to. Um, it is very important that you you continue to question what you want to be using the space for, even once it has started technically working based on like what you initially thought you were going to do with it. Um, and to like in knowing that, like building into the way that you approach, even initially thinking like we don't know exactly what we're using the space for. We have certain ideas based on what we've experienced in the past spaces, but if at all possible, start living your life there with as few things as possible, and then continue to question what you're using the space for and find furniture that will allow you to experiment. Like this desk that I'm on is a folding desk. I could fold it up and put it in my closet if I change my mind about the space. Two of the other 3 desks that I have also fold and only recently took their like more longer term like locations. So like having these modular things have helped me develop, you know, the function of my space.
I like that. I do. I like it. I could. It's come to think of it. I guess if I did get a foldable desk, I could try to put it in here, and then just if companies coming over, because the only reason why I didn't put another desk is because it would look bad if I had it just like sitting. It would look kind of cramped, the space. But I mean, to me, maybe it wouldn't matter. But I could just take it out, use it, and then put it away. I could just do something like that. So it's something to consider now. Now I'm starting to think if I can fit it in the closet, because the thing about this place too, the garbage and the recycling don't fit under the sink, so I had to put them
Mm.
in my closet. Like the not my
On the
closet like for
balcony?
clothes, but like for it's like the closet where you'd usually keep like maybe jackets, or you'd like it's by the door,
Oh,
right? And it's already really small, so that is just like it has like the vacuum in there, recycling and garbage, a few like other like things on the shelf, and that's it. Because it's like it just became the trash and garbage space because of.
so what about the storage on the balcony?
There's room out there. I could do that. That little pocket out there. I think that would work.
Nice.
I think I could manage it.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
I just hate the idea of having to like go outside on the deck to get this like to get it out like to be like and have to like go out into like the rain or something and
Yeah.
oh it's
It's
covered but
covered.
it's cold. It's cold.
Yeah. I mean, you would only know if you wanted to do it or not if you got to see the upside of what this extra desk would provide you in terms of, functionality. Because
True, true.
it's not like these choices that we make have no effect on our lives, they do. And so like it allows you to do something different with your life when you make choices, and like you might have to go out on the balcony, but you might find you might like it more. Yeah, that might be better, a net positive, like to like be doing that.
It might be, yeah. I see how I do it right now. I don't know if other people are the same on this, but I will I will do my homework periodically. Through if I have multiple like assignments or something, I will periodically do it throughout the day. Like I'll do something, and then I'll just take like a break or something, and I do like this like periodically. So it's like almost like I know I have to get things done, but it's almost like a chaos is what I would describe it. It's like a chaos of getting things done, especially if something is like due at the end of the day. It's like everything is just getting done in like random rapid fire, and it gets done by the end of the day. But I would describe it as a chaos. I would.
Interesting. And what do you attribute that to?
I don't know. I think like I'll get distracted sometimes, like or sometimes I really don't want to do something, and so I do something else before it, and then eventually the other thing I end up doing it because I have to, and then that one thing will get done. Sometimes I'm feeling like I have to get this out of the way right away. I hate this. I hate it. And so I finish that. Or maybe I'll get halfway in and I'll be like, I just can't do this anymore. And then I'll start on something else and then I'll finish it and then I'll go back to it. It's the weirdest thing. That's what I mean by chaos. It's utterly chaotic.
Yes, you don't know.
Yeah, I don't. I feel like, but that's why I feel like if I had like separate spaces, it would be like once I sit down, I wouldn't have the option to do like all these other things. Like at least I'd just be working on homework and other related things at that desk. So maybe it would help like separate the chaos a little bit, you know? It would limit the chaos.
Mm. Yeah. Uh, yeah, that could be the case. I think one thing that allows me to do this is having a laptop where like that's where I'm logging on to like the school websites or I'm answering emails and stuff. And like my big computer is just my music computer. Or if like I need to show somebody a diagram or something, like I'll go on there. But that's one element to this that is to me pretty much required, like to create the full separation from the spaces.
Okay. Hmm. See, I do
You
have
you
another
could see that, right?
laptop. It's
You could
slow.
see how it's the problem, right? Because even if you have the other desk, you don't have your computer at the other desk.
Yeah, but I do have another I do have a laptop. I have this like desktop and then I have the laptop. It's just really slow. Um in fact, I got a really cheap one because the one that I had for a long time that was like it was a nice laptop, but it just got bogged down after a while. The fans started getting really loud and so many things went wrong. I couldn't use like the mouse pad. I had to plug in a mouse. Eventually, I was just like, I can't. Getting this fixed isn't even gonna work. So I got like a cheap one, just for school, and it's small, and you can take it into class, and it's easy. But it's also kind of slow. So it's always like a temptation of like, and it's not super slow, but it's like comparative to this, it's kind of slow. And so whenever I'm like even like just like typing in the school website and I'm waiting for it to load, I'm kind of like, and then I just like
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
temptation is there. So that would be a problem because even if I have this separate space and I open up the laptop and I'm on it and then I'm like, you know, I'm looking at this site loading, I might just like go and I do, but I just have to be what do you call that? Yeah, I'd have to develop a um resistance to the temptation. You know, I'd have to stay strong at the desk, stay strong at the post. You know.
Yeah, what I would do is I would see if I liked it better or not. Um, yeah. Yeah, so I just went to actually today to get this extra piece of wood for my desk. Um, and they cut it for me. And it just made me think, like, I didn't know that I was gonna go get that piece of wood today, you know? Like, I had it on my mind yesterday and I wrote it down. And then I was like, okay, I thought that I had to go to Home Depot to get it. And the Home Depot's like almost 20 minutes away. And so I was like, trying to fit that in. Like, how am I gonna go to Home Depot today? But like, all there was like a lumber store like a couple miles away from here, and they had the exact piece of wood that I wanted. And it just made me think like I thought that I needed to go to Home Depot today, and I didn't think that I was gonna be able to go. But I just went somewhere else and I had what I wanted.
Yeah. Wait. So did you think that you wouldn't be able to go to Home Depot today, or did it just take like less time since you didn't have to drive all the way out?
I didn't think I was gonna be able to go. Like
Ah.
it was making me think, to use this as an analogy, it was making me think of the way that you described. Oh, I don't want to have to take it out on the balcony in the fake rain and then put it in the, you know? That's what
Yeah.
it was feeling like emotionally for me to like go to Home Depot. But I didn't even need to go and I got what I wanted.
Sometimes you never know. You know, things work out that you don't think are gonna work out.
But is that even working out though?
I mean, it allowed you to get the wood,
Yeah, yeah, it did.
and the fact that they had what you wanted too. That's another good thing.
Yeah, they had exactly what I wanted. I was even thinking before that, I was like, there's a lot of more African American people here in Oakland than anywhere else I've lived. And I was thinking, like, like there isn't, to my knowledge, anybody who's predominantly African American in my Chinese medicine school. And I was like, okay, like I don't know that much about, this culture. Um, Not that it isn't also American culture, but I was thinking I want to know more about this. And like the guys that helped me were African American, getting me the wood, and like the piece was a little bit too big, so like they cut it for me, and so like it was also like just better than Home Depot.
Probably more
Like,
personal. I would assume, like even like like if you go to like and this is like anywhere too though, but like a mom and pop shop, I feel like you always like get better service than like one of the big chains, where it's just like copy and paste the same thing. When you go into someone who like one of those guys may have even been like, partially owned the place. They might have like felt more like I don't know. They're even if not, it feels like there's like something better environment maybe. I don't know. It's outside of the corporate structure, so it's just kind of this little, just one little place.
That made you think of capitalism.
Well, technically, a small mom and pop business is still like it still works under like a capitalist structure, but it's not like a monopoly, like kind of. It's not like yeah. Wait, I think you might be frozen. Oh, there you go. Okay, now it's better. Now it's better.
Frozen 1 or 2? Because I think I like Frozen 2 better.
Frozen 2?
Yeah, I think that one's better.
What's Frozen 1 and Frozen 2? Oh, the movie.
Well, you said Frozen, yeah.
Ah,
Oh, and all that kind of shit.
that was more of like an Olaf kind of Frozen, if you ask me.
That was a different movie that they put out on Netflix, I think.
Ah, oh, but wasn't he was a character in Frozen, right? Was am I
Yeah, yeah. No, Olaf was a character in Frozen.
okay?
And I
Okay.
said Frozen 1 or 2, and then I was like, they also made an Olaf movie. It just wasn't in theaters.
I was saying that like because like yeah, I was spinning it into like you spun it into a movie, and then I was spinning it into like what type of like Frozen were you when you were frozen? I was kind of an Olaf Frozen, so I was like going off of like a pose. I don't even know if that was an Olaf pose. It just came to mind first. Like you went like this or something, and I was like, I don't know, it's an Olaf pose, but
Mm, yeah, yeah. What they did in that movie in the Frozen 2 was basically spoiler alert, they were like, oh, like this girl is gonna get married to this dude, and then like the reindeer tells him to do it, and then like the other reindeers like were there too, and then they were like, oh shit, there's this pink clouds, and then they were like, oh, our mom told us about this, and then they were like, oh fuck, Elsa's falling drowning, and then by the end of it, like there was this giant tsunami, and then everything was fine.
I haven't even seen Frozen 2. So for me that was like I was imagining this guy who said they should get married and then these pink clouds and stuff like that sounded like a fever dream.
Yeah, I mean, I did a pretty good job of like a 5 or 6 sentence summary of the film. Um, a lot of singing involved, a lot of venturing into the unknown. That was the main theme of the film.
Now I gotta watch this movie. I gotta watch it.
Yeah, do you have
Now that I've
Disney
had this
Plus?
description. No, I don't.
You get a free trial, 7 days, I think. Into the unknown. Uh, that's like a motif, a melodic motif in the film. A
It,
lot of a lot of kids would sing that, like when I was teaching at schools, like they would be like, ah, and then like other ones would like call out and do it again, ah, like an echo.
I remember I did see the first Frozen, and I remember that Let It Go. That was everywhere. People love that. That was like was a big song. There also was the meme that started passing around where do you know where it was like, do you want to build a snowman?
Oh,
And then
yeah,
like no, and it's and then it's like oh, okay, but they put like different people in the door, like saying something back and like closing it, and yeah.
yeah, that was a good meme. Do you want to put a snowman? Well, the brunette person, girl that was getting married in the second one is voiced by an actor named Kristen Bell. Have you ever heard of her before?
No.
Kristen Bell. Yeah. She's she was in the show called The Good Place.
Oh, I know that that show. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's the from that. Also she's married to Dex Shepard, and he was in the Dukes of Hazzard movies. He is kind of plays a douchebag a lot of times in movies.
I don't. The guy sounds familiar, but I don't think I know that show. Yeah, I don't think I
Yeah,
do.
Dukes of Hazzard was like it was like a movie in the 70s and 80s, and then they remade it in like the 2000s, I think.
Hmm.
Anyway, Christian Bell is friends with my favorite podcaster, Rick Glassman.
Okay. Ah.
Yeah, small world.
I've gotten really obsessed with
Was there
tea.
even anything in there? Was there anything in that cup?
There was a little bit left. There was a little bit left in the bottom. I've gotten really like into tea. I really
Hmm.
like drinking tea. I've been drinking tea like every day. I drink a different type of tea sometimes. There's like one that I really like. It sounds disgusting. People always tell me, they're like, "What, you who drinks that?" It's matcha tea. It's green matcha tea because matcha is supposed to be really good for you. And I didn't know if I would like it, but I was like, I'll just give it a try. It has turmeric in it, also really good for you. And I think something else is in there too, but it's good. It's really good. I'm not drinking that right now. I'm drinking like a sweet and spicy tea, and it's literally called sweet and spicy tea. I don't know what's in it, but
Cinnamon is in there, I think.
I think there's a little bit of cinnamon in there, but I don't know what else they're putting in there for
Well, what
extra
got you into
spice.
that?
Actually, you probably know where it's from. Our grandmother had it at her house, and it's called sweet and spicy
Tea?
tea.
How'd you get into tea?
Just for a while. I mean, before then, before I found the sweet and spicy, I've been on that matcha stuff for maybe like the past 3-4 months, maybe.
Mm.
It's good, yeah.
Just the powder, right? You just throw it in the hot water.
No, it comes in like a tea bag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe it's not as like concentrated, not as powerful, but it's good. It's good. I've just been on this tea. Sometimes I have 2 cups of tea a day. I'm telling you, that is how much I am into tea as of recently. When it gets cold too, like I stopped in the summer because I was like, nah, this doesn't really make that much sense anymore. But now it's getting colder again. I'm right back into it. I can't stop.
Can't stop.
Can't stop.
Oh, shit. Oh, that just makes me think. I don't know where I lost some items in the move. And one of them was my electric kettle. So
Oh.
I'm gonna have to get another one.
Yeah, you got it. I don't even have an electric kettle. I use a Keurig for hot water. I never used it for coffee ever because, well, I used to, but it's the thing is that they come with like refillable cups. And when you put the coffee in there, it doesn't produce the right coffee mixture. It's really weird. It's a strange, like, it gets a lot of the grinds in, and so you have to buy
Hmm.
the cups for it. So I just took out the thing, and now it just hot water comes out, and
Oh,
that's just how I use it.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Tea's good, man. Yeah. I don't know how cold it's gonna get here. They say it's gonna be a little bit colder, but dude, it was fucking almost 80 degrees today, you know?
What? That's crazy. Yeah, so you guys are living in a completely different reality down there. That's insane. 80
Dude,
degrees.
I got a freaking sunburn 2 days ago.
That's insane. That's crazy because like I would have thought like California, like, still hotter, but I would have thought maybe you guys had like 70 down there, maybe like high 60s, 68, 69. That's insane. That's crazy. 80 degrees.
Yeah,
That's not
it's like
that sounds
over
kind of nice.
halfway. Yeah, literally the sun has been out every single day that I've been here.
Dang. See,
Like it'll be overcast in the morning for like 3 hours, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, it's gonna be the first cloudy day, and then it was like, just kidding, it's sunny again.
yeah, see that can be a little bit too much for me. Like I think like especially in the summer, when there's too much sun, I start to think like I'd like some clouds now, you know? But then when I'm too deep into the summer, like it's only been like maybe a week of like cloudy kind of cold weather, maybe a little bit more. We get a sunny day every now and then that peeks through, and I'm already like I'd like some heat. I'd like some sun. But then if I was there for 3 days, I'd probably be like I'd like it to be cold again. That's weird.
Yeah, it is weird because it's like about to be Halloween, you know?
Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's got to be kind of, especially you, because you're like, you're a Washingtonian like me. So when it's Halloween, you're thinking it's gonna get cold. It's time for the chills.
I think I've celebrated every single Halloween of my life in Washington State.
Me too.
Yeah, e- every single one. Like I either did my travels, I did my travels in the summer, you know? I never seen Halloween from anywhere else. Now I'm in the Bay Area. I'm gonna see Halloween. They do Halloween decorations, but it's kind of funny to see, just with the sun like
Yeah,
shining on Halloween decorations.
I would imagine that. That is really strange. If I didn't even think about it. Like the places with like warm climates. That's just how it is. Like,
Yeah.
no matter what like holiday you're celebrating, if it's cold somewhere else, it's just gonna be warm there. And
Yeah.
I wonder if people on the streets, I wonder if they're like, oh, what? Oh, you put Halloween's up when it's like the sun isn't shining on those lights. What's wrong with you? Ew, that's gross. Like, I wonder if they'd come
What
up here
peop-
and
what people in the streets?
I wonder if the people down there, if they came up here, I wonder if they'd have that same reaction. That'd be like, God, it's not supposed to be cold yet. It drops like to the 60s later. It's later in the year when it's supposed to drop into the 60s,
Mhm.
guys. This is
Yeah.
what is this? This is like Halloween is for the hot weather. I'm going outside, and when I start trick or treating, it's hot. I'm always dressing in like the shorter Halloween costumes because I know it's hot here. Now I have to put on extra layers. This is ruining my costume. It's ruining it. And then they have their own
Y-
complaints, basically. You know, they have.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't call it a complaint. I'm sure it does go both ways. Uh,
But I think it's better up here. Like, there's no way that like if they came to me and they were like, "Nah, it's supposed to be hot," I'd actually like. I'd passionately be upset and I'd say no. It's supposed to be cold. That's like when the leaves fall. The leaves fall. By the way, like I'd even ask them. I'd be like, okay, so like you have this green tree outside. That's not spooky. The tree has to be no leaves on it. It has to be like a wooden structure. It has to feel like wet, damp, and cold and spooky. That's how it's spooky. That's what
yeah,
I'd
not as
say.
not as spooky. You're right. I was thinking that as well.
Yeah, that's what I would tell them. They must know. Like I think, okay, I'm actually taking it back now. They actually know. They know it's wrong from birth. If they're born in California, they know there's an innate instinct that this isn't spooky. This is not right. They must see the books and they're like, this isn't like. How did that happen, by the way? Because like you know that those books weren't written in California. They had to be written maybe in New York. They had to be written like anywhere where it was cold during this time of the year. It couldn't have been written there. You know, it just couldn't.
Yeah, it probably did come from the north. Um, Halloween, and I guess any major tradition surrounding the seasons. Um, I think topographically, this is like a unique climate here, um, meaning that like here in San Diego are like they're pretty consistent year round. But even if you go like an hour or so north of here or south, like it's in the summer, it's gonna get up to like in the 100s and stuff. Like it only really gets up to 85 here. So it's kind of like just like the extremes are kind of tempered on both sides. So especially right where I am, like none of that makes any sense. Or even like in the spring, I'm sure I won't notice as much kind of, new life um occurring. Um,
Wait, like
you
is
know,
LA the same way?
Uh, I think LA has more of seasons. It's still very sunny most of the year, but there'll be more fluctuations.
Interesting. That's so weird because like you said San Francisco too, right? That's also kind of like very like limited. That's no, that is more south than LA, I think. So that does make sense. I
No,
think
I'm
that
north of LA.
you're
Six
north of
hours.
LA.
6 hours drive north of LA. Yeah.
Oh, that's so weird. That's so interesting that like different like pockets going down to the south like will have like different varying degrees of like weather changes. It's
Yeah,
interesting.
we're so close to the water here. Like LA is actually like inland from the water. Like Santa Monica is like the coast, but um so it's definitely the coast. There's also some mountains. Um but basically pretty much everywhere that's around me is kind of like Seattle in that it's, there's like water all around me. Like on the west, on the north, and the east side really is like there's water all around this area.
Yeah.
Um yeah, dude. We'll see how cold it gets. Um I came here for the sun though, so I'm it's working for me.
I do miss it. I will say I miss the sun, especially like I mean it's a little bit was intense. I traveled to well the audience wouldn't know, but I traveled to Israel and Jordan. I also traveled to Amsterdam, but that was like normal. That was like comparative to here. But I traveled over there, and the desert heat is like it's intense. It's like crazy. So I feel like I don't know if I had like some temperature shock where like I came back home and it was like kind of hot, but it was like also kind of getting cold, and now it's just cold. Like the adjustment period for me was like just so small. Um, and now it feels like the polar opposites of like going from desert heat to just like it's cold. Uh, my body is like
Yeah.
telling me there's something wrong here. Like it still should be a little bit warmer. Still, it shouldn't have gotten that cold that fast.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I would
dude.
like that too. I'm saying like maybe I'm coming to California. That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to visit, I have 4 desks, but I also have like a guest bed set up here. So if you want to come down here, I think, yeah, I don't know, on your breaks or once you graduate, that could be cool.
Yeah, yeah. I will. I actually didn't think about it too. You're so far down that even on my weekends because I've got classes like every day throughout the week. Even on my weekends, that would be an insane drive to make just to like stay the night and then the next day I'd have to book it back up. I don't even think I'd have enough time within a whole weekend span.
Well,
But
it's like 14 hours of driving each way. You wouldn't do that. Um,
yeah, I think that I'd already be like if I left on
you couldn't
Saturday,
do that.
I
You'd be,
couldn't. Yeah, it would be impossible. But over like a break,
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
I'd come
also
down
you
and
can look
visit.
at the Bellingham Airport. I don't know. Do they have an airport up there?
They do have an airport. Yeah, yeah.
So like there's a really small airport in Everett that my mom goes to that only has like 2 gates in it and it flies to San Francisco. Um and then there's a BART, which is the transit, the train comes like a half mile from my house. So that's only a 2 hour flight. Um so most recently she was here for 3 days and she basically like worked one day, got on a plane at like 7:30, landed at like 9:30, and then I picked her up. And then she ended up working on Monday. And then Monday night, I just drove her to the airport. So it can happen on a weekend.
True,
Um,
true.
it's up to you.
Okay. Yeah,
It'd be
I
fun,
might
dude.
give that a try.
It's so sunny here. It's so sunny here.
It would be
Uh,
nice. It would be nice. Right now, it is already dark outside. Well, I guess that's not surprising. It's 6:44 p.m. here. I guess that's normal for
well,
Washington this
the
year.
sun's
But
just setting. The sun's just setting here. I can show you.
that's nice. And you guys still have a little bit of daylight. What time is it
Just
there?
same time.
Same time. Oh, it was dark at like 5:32. It's like it's been dark for like an hour. Like by the time we started the podcast, the sun was already pretty much gone. It was like, oh man, and it's raining too. If you can hear what I can hear, you can hear the trickle of the rain. You can hear it. It does. It feels
Wow.
right for like the season, but like if it just like got like this on Halloween, and maybe we just had a few sunny days too, that would be nice. But I don't know. That would probably really fuck up the whole climate here. I'm sure like plants would like start going extinct, dying, and the whole thing would be thrown into chaos. So it wouldn't be good. But
We actually just learned about this exact time in the day in my Chinese medicine class today, between 5 and 7 p.m. And it's associated with the kidneys, and the kidneys are a deep well of storage of energy, and basically it's about they use the kidney, and 5 to 7 is related to the rooster, the animal. And you usually think of the rooster as like starting the day, but this is actually kind of like as the day starts to wind down. And the way I took it to mean was like when it starts to get darker outside, your visual eyesight starts to get worse, less effective. And then there becomes this transition from like your external sight to your internal sight, kind of reflecting on what's happened in the day, and kind of starting to gather resources like for like the next day. And so the rooster, what it's really doing is it's like waking you up to your internal sight. um so yeah, we literally talked about that today, and how going to this time in fall is really like um going into hibernation, but also it was said as like a death of the ego in a certain sense. Like your external life has sort of wound down, and now like you're less of who you are in the world at that time.
damn,
Isn't that wild? That like that's like what I'm learning about. They
that
have
is
tests on
yeah.
it.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's kind of like philosophy, and it's kind of like, yeah, kind of like just like learning about the cycles of nature.
That's cool. That's cool. I'm sure there's even like a historical context behind it, right? Because a lot of it is probably like you can like go back in history and like kind of like see its like evolution and everything too.
The evolution of,
Of just like it being passed down. You know what I mean? Like, or kind of like I don't know. I'm just guessing. I don't know what time period it originated from, but I always assumed a lot of it would probably be like older, like going back like a long time.
yeah, thousands of years. I think I'm in the history class. That's one of my least favorite classes, honestly, just because the structure of the class, not because of the content. And basically, yeah, the Chinese are like the best record keepers of kind of any civilization in the past like 5,000 years. Um, they've been thinking about this stuff for a really long time. They didn't start to introduce like the animals until more recently, maybe like 1,000 years ago. Um, Especially once it became more popular and it hadn't come to the West yet. But so like they add stuff to it to make it more like palatable to the newer generations, and like that ends up changing it to a certain degree. Um, so all that's documented though, which is super crazy. And the only hard part about it is like all of it's written in Chinese characters, Mandarin, and or I don't know, they're written in characters, and then translated to English. Um, there's like this whole there's different there's different translators, okay, of the original text, right? All the translations have slightly different meanings to begin with. And what's hard about that is we don't know exactly what they're saying. And so what they do is like now the things that we study aren't the original text that are translated, but like commentary on the translations. And so it is pretty far removed from like the original texts. Um, but with that being said, there has been like a lot of deliberation uh, surrounding these ideas, and so like I think in doing that, uh, we're bringing it more into like a language that we can like use in modern times. Um, so yes, this is incredible history, but I don't know how much of that we're calling the medicine and you know what we're using today.
Okay, interesting. Huh.
Okay, dude, this was a good episode.
I liked it too. I liked it too. I thought it was good. It's good to be back into it, you know? It's good to get back into it.
Yeah, maybe next time we can get the old overlay set up.
Yeah. We might have to do like a test or something like that to try and figure it out. I don't know what happened. But for some reason, yeah, it stopped working. My mic too. I didn't even mess with the settings and just everything just switched around. But
Yeah.
we'll get it back. We'll get it back.
I mean, do you need me for that? The
Um,
correct overlay? Because
I might actually, because I'll need to figure out how to capture both of us on the screen. Um, but we can always do that before too, because I'll just reset it up. It shouldn't be that hard to figure out. Oh wait, I think you.
Yeah, you're frozen for a while.
Okay, you were too. You were too.
Okay. Um,
All right.
you want to
Well,
do
I'll stop
this
the
next week?
recording. We'll see you guys on the next one.